earlier tonight.
That was so long ago, it was still football season.
Crazy.
On senior day, Tony Chosha Morelos makes his first attempt. So now here's Alabama, losers of their last 4, trying to right the ship. They have a tournament-worthy resume, but they're trying to find something, anything to help. Dante Hall wore 2 different shoes today to see if that'll help, and he's off the mark with his first attempt.
Yeah, he's actually been wearing 2 different shoes since the Tennessee game when he had 20 points. I spoke with him about it at shoot-around. He says he's very superstitious and he just believes in it. Tried to play it off like he didn't know he accidentally put on 2 different shoes. Come on. Every player knows when you put on 2 different shoes, although they're both KDs.
There's the feed over the top, and Alabama unable to knock that one down. Hogue gives it up. Admon Gilder able to get deep, and a teardrop goes.
I think whatever team's able to control transition is going to be the team that's going to win this game. How many looks can you get free of playing against the half-court set defensively?
That's all for us as Miami wins it 69-68. A final heave by Clark.
They should have probably tried to get the ball to Justin Robinson, but they ran out of time. And both teams, great defense, but Miami made the plays when they had to at the end.
Good way to start this Saturday on the final weekend of the regular season. Thanks for watching. Now let's take you out to Alabama and Texas A&M in College Station.
Thank you and welcome to Reed Arena. Tom Hart alongside Sean Farnham. Alabama and Texas A&M meeting for the second time this season. The Tide in desperate need of a series sweep to help their postseason hopes. Colin Sexton has a bucket for Alabama and Texas A&M on their second possession. What are you looking for today, Sean Farnham?
Well, A&M's got to value the basketball in the opening 2 possessions. 2 careless turnover opportunities for Alabama. And they've got to value it a lot better. There's another turnover here on this possession. And they're fortunate Dazon Ingram stepped out of bounds, but right now A&M cannot throw an entry pass in their offense. You mentioned these 2 teams met December 30th. It was the first game of the SEC schedule. There was no Gilder, he was out with injury, and no DJ Hogue, he was out with suspension. Dwayne Wilson was also out with injury, and of course he's out tonight, as he has been the last couple of games after having surgery and ending his career here on senior day, walking out with his parents earlier tonight.
That was so long ago, it was still football season.
Crazy.
On senior day, Tony Chosha Morelos makes his first attempt. So now here's Alabama, losers of their last 4, trying to right the ship. They have a tournament-worthy resume, but they're trying to find something, anything to help. Dante Hall wore 2 different shoes today to see if that'll help, and he's off the mark with his first attempt.
Yeah, he's actually been wearing 2 different shoes since the Tennessee game when he had 20 points. I spoke with him about it at shoot-around. He says he's very superstitious and he just believes in it. Tried to play it off like he didn't know he accidentally put on 2 different shoes. Come on. Every player knows when you put on 2 different shoes, although they're both KDs.
There's the feed over the top, and Alabama unable to knock that one down. Hogue gives it up. Admon Gilder able to get deep, and a teardrop goes.
I think whatever team's able to control transition is going to be the team that's going to win this game. How many looks can you get free of playing against the half-court set defensively?
Dazon Ingram throws in a 3, and we're tied at 5. Gilder carried it, and there's a Texas A&M turnover. Here's a look at the SEC standings right now. Florida won at home against Kentucky.
And there's a chance Kentucky will have to play on Thursday at the SEC tournament.
That has not happened under John Calipari. We enter today with the top 2 seeds known in the SEC tournament. It will be Auburn and Tennessee in one order or another, 1-2. The remaining 12 seeds at the beginning of today were all up for grabs in the final day of the regular season. 3-on-2 break for Alabama. Sexton recovers and fires. What have you seen from Colin Sexton over the length of the season?
Well, I think he's gotten a little bit, fatigue factor has hit him a little bit. He's not a great communicator out on the floor, offensively or defensively. He's got a great first step. He's a free throw attempting guard, which means he's able to get that first burst of energy by you and earn trips to the free throw line. His three-point shot has regressed. As we saw in that possession there, that's a shot he could take at any time. So time and possession, understanding when to shoot the shot, I think is going to be key in his development.
He is 3rd in the league in scoring, but he's missed his last 7 three-point attempts, going back a couple of games. And Alabama turns it over. TJ Starks assumed the point guard role late in the season. He's been magnificent for A&M. And then Hogue gets shoved. Talking with Billy Kennedy before the game today about the point guard situation for Texas A&M, because I feel at this point like I've coached 5 different teams this season.
He pretty much has. I mean, he's had guys with suspensions, injuries, multiple suspensions, dismissals from the team. I mean, you came into the year thinking J.J. Caldwell was going to be your guard. He's not even on the roster now.
So Starks, the freshman from Dallas, has taken over that role. He's been fantastic as a starter.
Good defense inside right now by Alabama, not allowing Tyler Davis to have any clean looks.
Extra effort on the offensive glass. Davis comes down with it. We'll take it right back to the rack, and a nice reverse for the bucket.
Now, there might not be a better offensive rebounder in all of the SEC, and it's been that way since day one here in College Station.
A little sloppy early for Alabama. John Petty tries to find it. Key tried to wrap around pass, and Hogue got his hands on it. We'll have 4 seconds on the shot clock when we return. 7 of 5 here. Let's take it to the studio and check in with Kevin Connors.
All right, Tom, obviously big one in College Station, real big one in all.
The rest of the way for this team. And for the team that had such high hopes of making the NCAA tournament, they need to take care of business here on the road.
Year 3 of the Avery Johnson era. We've got a travel on and up and down, and Alabama turns it over again. Alabama's 3rd turnover. Avery Johnson got excited about this season because of this fantastic freshman class they have, one of the best recruiting classes in Alabama history. Then injuries hit this team, and then inconsistency, as you would expect from freshmen. They're not alone. Everyone in the SEC, aside from the top 2 teams, Auburn and Tennessee, every single team has had a 3-game losing streak at one point this season. The tough part is when this losing streak has come for Alabama.
Right, because it's the lasting memory that you have heading in to championship week next week.
Dejon Ingram gets tied up, and we got a jump ball that will stay this direction. Now, the selection committee is going to look at the overall body of work for Alabama. We know that. They no longer consider the last 12 games of the season. But if you can't win today, you're going to have a hard time playing well in St. Louis, you would think.
Right.
It's not trending in the right direction.
Right, and I think that's important. You know, when you're looking around and you're seeing teams like Penn State playing in the semifinals right now, and what Coach Chambers has been able to do, and Tony Carr and how well he's played for the Nittany Lions, you need to handle your business. You can't be looking around and hoping that others are losing and are going to help you out. Help yourself out by finding a way to win. The other night against Florida, and I had that game on Tuesday, they went almost 15 minutes without a made field goal on their home floor. That's tough to do.
Here's Adlon Gilder. That one was halfway home. Alabama at one point in that drought missed 19 consecutive field goals. We asked Avery Johnson before the game today, what's the difference in what you guys are doing in practice versus what's happening in the game? So we're so much more patient in practice, and therefore we get an extra shot, extra pass, we get a better shot. Have you seen impatience from Avery's squad today?
Well, I just saw great patience right there. I mean, good job by Dante Hall to make the extra pass. Galen Smith, don't overcomplicate it. Get deep position, catch, and go up with your jump hook.
Jump stop for Hogue, and he kicks it back out.
And Robert Williams has just checked into the game. You know he's going to want to get a look.
Waiting on the baseline for it. Instead, it's a contested 3 with 4 on the shot clock. And another offensive rebound for Tyler Davis. Both of his buckets have come on offensive boards.
Yeah, he does such a good job wedging in and creating space. He pushes the offensive player with his lower body underneath the rim. By doing so, it allows him to get a better opportunity to gather the offensive rebound and finish.
Colin Sexton looking for some help. Out for a three, and that one is short. Galen Smith trying to work on the inside. Alabama will be without Herbert Jones today. Still working his way back after knocking heads in the Florida game. And a turnover on the baseline for Alabama.
Let's go to our previous offensive possession, though, and you just see Tyler Davis. You see with that left arm, he wedges Hall underneath the rim. And once he gets his hands on it, there's nothing you can do. A shot blocker cannot block a shot when the best option is for your hand to go through the hoop.
Yeah, that would be illegal. So that's against the rules.
So it's about doing your work and having that wherewithal when the shot goes up. You're consistently using your lower body, your strength, to create an opportunity that gives you the best chance to be successful. Tyler Davis has done that since day one.
It's also a 30-pound weight advantage for Davis inside against Hall. Former Aggie Avery Johnson Jr. on the floor for the first time for Alabama. Started his college career here.
You know this, it would have been his senior night.
Nice dump and a foul. Two of the best shot blocking teams in the SEC. And this one's going to go against Tony Trocia Morelos on his senior night. He's now saddled with 2 personal fouls. And free throws coming for Galen Smith, freshman from Clinton, Mississippi.
And he just gets it. I mean, he's a player that can really absorb information and has like that old soul mentality.
Tonight at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN, it's part 2 of college basketball's greatest rivalry, and it's a Sonic blockbuster. Tar Heels beat the Blue Devils February 8th in a 4-point win at Chapel Hill. This one's at Cameron Indoor, though. Number 9, North Carolina. Number 5, Duke. Also streaming live on the ESPN app once again. In that great rivalry, it is a top 10 showdown.
It is unbelievable, the consistency within those programs and just how much these games matter. I mean, it may not matter as far as Virginia already locking up the ACC regular season championship, but it certainly will matter as far as seed line goes for Selection Sunday.
That game always matters. Lob inside. Ingram caught, and it's swatted away by Smith. Another offensive rebound opportunity. Denied inside by Alabama. Freshman Petty finds Ingram. Back to Petty. He will launch. John Petty shooting 50% from 3 over the last couple of games, but went just 1 for 10 in the blowout against Auburn. Avery Johnson gets a bump. Savion Flagg with the foul. We are packed and ready for St. Louis, but we still have to decide who's going to be where when we return. We'll take a peek ahead of the SEC tournament.
P.J. Washington, Kevin Knox, Quade Green, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I like that combination for them. They lost to a team today in Florida that came off that road win against Alabama and protected its home court like you'd anticipate they would.
Alex Reese drains a 3. Avery Johnson told us today he's got to shoot more of those. By the way, you mentioned Kentucky losing 80-67 today in Gainesville. What a huge win for Mike White as that team tries to find some momentum going to Lou.
I talked about this on Tuesday when they won at Alabama, and I said, look, you know, the way the SEC is this year versus even where it was a year ago, you can say that an 11-win team is better than a 14-win team from a season ago because of the sheer competitiveness of the conference. Here's where it looks like, as far as the highest and lowest seeds, you see the amount of mobility that you can have. Florida has clinched the 3 seed with the win against Kentucky. Kentucky could be the 4, or it could be the 5, based on what Arkansas does against Missouri. A&M's trying to avoid playing on Wednesday. For them to have to play on Wednesday, boy, South Carolina would also have to beat Auburn. Georgia would have to beat Tennessee. So there's a lot of variables that are going to be played out over the next 8 hours, 10 hours of college basketball that will allow us to get a better and clearer picture, obviously, of what the bracket will look like.
Yeah, we'll know tonight. If Arkansas wins, it gets the 4 seed. If they lose against Missouri today, then Kentucky will get the 4 seed in the final double bye. Missouri, by the way, playing without Michael Porter Jr. today. It was announced by the school this morning. Porter had been working his way back in practice, sent out a release that he's looking forward to getting on the floor soon, maybe in the SEC tournament.
2-3 zone now for Texas A&M. I like the length in this zone. The thing they've got to be careful of, sometimes they get beat on the back line because they're watching the ball. Sexton's running baseline. You got to communicate through.
Avery Johnson Jr. out to Braxton Key. Shot clock is at 2. Key gets to the rack, and A&M comes out of there with it. Tyler Davis with the board. Admon Gilder on the run, and he gets fouled on his way to the rim. 7 of the Aggies' 9 points thus far have come second chance opportunities. The Aggies have done a great job on the glass. They get 34% of their misses.
The problem has been their level of efficiency so far, Tom. They're just 1 for their last 8 from the field, and they haven't scored a single point in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. That's not good.
No.
But I mean, that's what you kind of expect in this game, right? I mean, both of these teams, when they're at their best, what do they hang their hat on? Defense.
Another one coming for Gilder. Part of that inconsistent Aggie roster over the course of the season, if not for performance and by health. He had a knee injury earlier this year, missed 5 games, and so TJ Starks replaces him in the backcourt now. Starks got his first career start against Kansas. He brings another element to this team. That was not over and back, only a toe went over, not 2 feet in the ball. Colin Sexton was never established in the front court, so no over the back legally. Shot clock is at 6. Sexton will launch with 3. Side rim, and it's ripped down by Robert Williams.
You got to get better offense than that if you're Alabama.
No flow.
Move the ball. Space. And what you see is a lot of ball watching. There's no ball watching right there. That's a great dump off and finish. TJ Starks is getting better and better every single game and understanding how to become a facilitator, not just a scorer for A&M. As he drove down the middle of the floor right here, he forces the back line of the defense to step in. Sexton doesn't pinch in, out of position, swipes from behind, and needless to say, Sexton swiping at Tyler Davis is like me trying to swat a bee. It ain't happening. The bee is always going to outsmart me, and usually I'm going to get stung.
Davis has it rim out. We talked to another great point guard today about what he thinks of TJ Starks. Avery Johnson said he's been really impressed by his play. But one thing really stood out. Avery said you can tell that the guys on his team like him. And it's kind of like a football team. You got to like the quarterback if you want to have success as a team.
And a big part of that is Tyler Davis' willingness to take him under his wing.
Jump ball, and Avery Johnson Jr. commits a foul. It's his second on Junior. His dad's the little general. His teammates have taken to calling Junior the smaller general.
If you're right, though, going back to Starks, and I love the analogy of the quarterback, right? You have to at least respect your quarterback. The more you respect him, the more you enjoy playing with him. Usually, the better the results become.
You kind of sound like those guys breaking down the combine, right?
I don't know. I mean, my 40 time isn't as good as some of those guys.
Some.
I could beat some of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Offensive linemen. I got you all day.
Rich Eisen.
Yeah. There's a foul over the back.
I threw the gauntlet down on that one.
Yeah. I don't want to see that. This is a very low-scoring affair. Alabama coming into this game, coming into the season. With all of this talent, Avery Johnson said, we're going to finally run what I want to run, what I want to be, which is more tempo. Now things have slowed down as their offense has become inefficient.
Well, and that's because, again, look at the movement. Watch this offensive possession. Watch the movement away from the ball. A lot of standing around.
Reese tried to skip it, had it denied, stolen away by Robert Williams.
Petty and Key in particular on that offensive possession never moved. They never moved, Tom. They when in transition, they stopped with where they were at, out on the wings, and they stayed there. Even if you have 2 guys not moving, it allows the defense to pinch in, help. They're not having to rotate. There was no ball reversal action in that offense.
They are missing a key part of their offense. Maybe not statistically, but from a communication standpoint, Herbert Jones is out in this game. He only averages 4 points and 3.5 boards a game. But Avery Johnson really leans on his communication and his leadership. Why is he so important to their offense?
Just the way he communicates. And it's not only just his offense, but it's also his defense. I mean, he's a really good on-ball defensive player. He's their best on-ball defensive player. He's excellent at taking charges. These are all things that have been noted over the course of the season. Offensively, he spaces the floor and helps get guys into the right position because their guards are quiet players. They don't communicate.
It's never been an issue for you.
I always talk. Sometimes too much.
You know, I've got a clock on you right now. Here's Petty.
Same clock you used for Mike Ireland, our director, when I beat him by 18 minutes to the restaurant and we left at the same time from the airport.
It's unbelievable.
The gas is on the right, Mike.
I understand he stopped at Squirrel Run, though, because he got distracted. Here's Petty. Shot clock at 3. Another handoff. Back to Reese. Shot clock at 1. And he will throw it up and able to hit the rim. But here comes J.J. Chandler. The lob. Oh, yes, above the rim. Robert Williams.
See, what happens is you take 4 shots. You're not in good rebounding position. You're not even in good defensive transition position. And you allow the Aggies to get out in the open floor and feed it to the big fella.
Hall looked a little uncomfortable in there, but he still throws it in. First bucket for the junior from Laverne, Alabama. Starks with the left. Early shot. They went from having pass first point guards in this offense to a shoot first point guard in T.J. Starks.
A mismatch.
Reese was falling away, used every bit of the rim.
Well, he's lucky he made that shot. I have no idea why you're fading away. You got T.J. Starks on you. Spin off of him, Alex, and go to the rim. Finish up the backboard.
Yeah, 6'9" versus 6'2".
Advantage 6'9".
Single digits on the shot clock again. Here's Hogue. 6'9" junior, just watching. Kick back out. Starks has to fire. A&M just 1 for 7 from deep. They're shooting 32% in this one. Dejon Ingram may have gotten away with a step. Dante Hall with the offensive board and put back.
Hall had a really good first outing in late December against A&M. He was 7 of 8 from the field, 17 points in that game.
Also had 2 blocks in that one.
You can see him playing with the kind of confidence that's necessary to dominate the paint. He's welcoming the challenge of the length of A&M.
But to be fair, that was a different A&M team back then.
Yes.
Injuries, suspensions.
But if you're A&M, same thing. Okay, so we've been critical of Alabama's offense, but J.J. Chandler, what kind of quality shot is that? One pass into the offense, contested 3-pointers. I don't like that.
Petty. Nope. Tipped out into Ingram's hands. Fresh 30 for Alabama. They might use all of it, and they're going to use a timeout here. It's a 2-point lead for Alabama. Alabama trying to play the way into the NCAA tournament. Let's get you back to Kevin Connors in the studio. She'll have her eyes closed on 99% of the plays.
An amazing senior day is such a special day in a player's career.
Gosha Morelos came out and hit his first shot. He hit a 3. Then he picked up a couple of fouls, not the way you want senior day to go. How do you control your emotions in a moment like that? When you get out before the game, they
try.
Show
it doesn't matter,
video.
Tom. It doesn't matter. You can try all you want. It's going to get the best of you. I remember mine. I was all smiles. Tony was emotional for his, but I was all smiles on mine. I ended up missing my first 5 shots. I was so tense and so tight. I was like, I got to make it. I got to make it. Because you want to have a good senior day. You want it to be a positive experience.
3 ball from Gilder. Nope. They also honored Dwayne Wilson today, graduate transfer from Marquette, who's out for the remainder of the year with a torn ACL. He's been playing on that torn ACL, then hurt it again. He's already undergone surgery, but he may be the toughest guy in college basketball the way he tried to play hurt.
And Tom, right now, if you're A&M, you mentioned Coach Morelos made the first 3-pointer of the game. The team is now 1 for its last. It's 1 for 10 overall in the game. They've missed 9 straight from beyond the arc. turn it down and get those looks at the iron right now if you want to be successful in your A&M.
Nice ball movement. Sexton takes a shot to the forehead, and he'll go to the free throw line. We've got 2 more Saturday showcase games presented by 5 Hour Energy for you today. Number 6, Kansas, the Big 12 regular season champs for the 14th straight year, take on Oklahoma State at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then Louisville squares off against NC State and Raleigh. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app. Oklahoma State knocked off Kansas in Allen Fieldhouse earlier this season. That was their 3rd home loss of the year.
I'll be interested to see how Louisville responds.
Oh, my gosh.
After that game the other night against Virginia, and they're in the last 4 in, according to Joe Lunardi. Can you imagine what a win against Virginia would have done? They wouldn't be showing on this screen, I'll tell you that right now. And you look at the first 4 out. Penn State. I would put Penn State in over some of those teams in the last 4 in particular USC. I think Coach Chambers has done a tremendous job this year. They're in the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. They beat Ohio State 3 times this year. The Nittany Lions deserve to be in the field.
Ohio State has had a monster season, so that's a big win for Penn State. Meanwhile, Nebraska bowed out of the Big Ten tournament early, and they could be in danger of being only the 3rd team since expansion with 11 Big Ten wins to not earn a bid. 91 Illinois and 2016 Illinois were the other 2.
It takes into account what the national perception is of the Big Ten this year. And it's not that dissimilar from what we saw a couple years ago in the SEC. Remember Georgia? They had 12 wins in the regular season and did not make the NCAA tournament in Mark Fox's team.
I want to take exception with one word that you use, though, is perception. I mean, I know that it gets discussed on College Game Day and on our games, and we talk about teams and leagues that way, but you are who you are you not? I mean, perception is reality. The numbers will say the Big Ten has 4 quality teams and maybe none other.
Well, and I think that it is the reality of it, but the reality of today's game is that this is significant for both teams right now. I mean, Robert Williams so far in this game has only attempted 3 shots. Tyler Davis has been the most efficient offensive player. He's back out on the floor now. Turn down the 3-point shot, get inside the paint.
And those shots for Davis, the production has come primarily an offensive rebound.
And I've got a genuine concern for Alabama. John Petty enters the witness protection program every single time he goes on the road. I don't know if he doesn't like red uniforms. I don't know what it is, but I mean, he just really, really struggles when he's not at home. You look at the numbers in SEC play, Petty is shooting just 16% from the field, 17%, and 17% from three-point line in SEC on the road. He is 0 for 4 and 0 for 2 today. I mean, they got to get him going. If you're Alabama and you want to win on the road, and you're John Petty, you're one of the best freshmen in the country, you got to start making some shots away from home.
3 out of 4 attempts for John Petty come from behind the arc. How would getting inside and finding some 2s help that confidence or that road production?
Well, he had a nice little up shot fake, drive in the middle of key, elevate up, and he still missed it. For him, he's just got to see the ball go through the hoop. So it's not even settling for the mid-range shot. Ideally trying to get to the iron, get fouled, go to the free throw line, see the ball go through the basket.
Well, as great as the Stella is here locally, maybe he just doesn't like to stay in hotels.
Ooh.
Did somebody open the door?
Oh, man.
He's got a wry smile. Well, at least that didn't happen on the road, right? The home crowd is very kind to Robert Williams after that miss. He's only 47% from the line. A miss is a miss.
47% is better than what the team's shooting. They're shooting 25% during the first half. They're 2 for 8 from the free throw line. They're free. No one's standing in front of you.
A poke from behind by Gilder and a steal for Texas A&M. What a lob. That was an aggressive line. And Robert Williams rips the rim again. Here comes Alabama the other way in transition. Sexton rolls it home.
That is where Colin Sexton is at his best, and he can turn it on in a hurry. So a great play. Everybody sucked in the paint. They're all excited because you got a big dunk. Colin Sexton streaking down the sideline with the basketball.
Sexton 61 points away from the Alabama freshman scoring record held by James Robinson back in the 90-91 season. May have been basket interference. Avery Johnson Jr. left wide open. His dad told us we have to lean on him to take some open threes. We need other guys to knock down some jump shots, especially being on the road. That was an early 3.
That was a bad 3.
Sexton steps right into traffic and is able to draw the foul on hold.
You want to know why that's a bad three, Tom?
There's a lot of reasons.
There's no pass in the offense. Watch it. This is the great lob. And then the thing by Williams. That was good offense. And then in transition, look at how he just gets beat down the floor. You've got everybody clinging to where they're supposed to go, but yet nobody stopped the ball. I want to go back to that previous possession, though, Tom. You don't have any pass in the offense. You flatten the offense out by dribbling into the corner like T.J. Starks did. You miss the three-pointer that's bouncing towards your opponent's basket. They're at the head of steam. You've got everybody behind the ball. There's no chance of success.
Oh, you have a big head in the A&M crowd.
I don't get paid as much as Jimbo Fisher. That's why.
The contract's not guaranteed like this. Section goes 1 of 2 from the line.
I'm not a furry mascot either.
Not a good pass. There's the double. Shot clock at 10. Tyler Davis, nice step through. He's got a team high 8. They're tied at 21. There are going to be a lot of halves this year at Kyle Field where Jimbo Fisher's team scores more than 21. Maybe the opener on the SEC Network against Northwestern State.
Isn't Northwestern State the Demons?
Yes, they're purple.
Yes. I'm going to bet the over on 21 points being scored in the first half.
It's a safe bet, I think. Allen Sexton is 14 this half. An answered jumper from Admon Gilder. That's a 2.
So it's his second made field goal of the game.
So we have this kind of a low energy first half, right?
Not for you and I.
No. We've been fantastic, by the way. No, we're going to come out of the break. I'm just looking forward to the second half. This is a must-win game for Alabama. And Texas A&M has a lot on the line, too. They're trying to avoid playing in the first day of the SEC tournament. Trying to go in there. You said they could win the thing. They could be a team that could compete for a title once we get to St. Louis.
There is no sense of urgency in this game right now.
Here's Reese with the turnaround. So Alabama's going to have 20 minutes really to decide its fate when it comes out of the locker room.
Well, and you look at this first half, that's a prime example. I mean, for Alex Reese, you're not going to get a cleaner look. If you're Avery Johnson, what are you going to dial up that's going to give your guy a better opportunity? You're 5 feet away with nobody in front of you.
You had Avery Johnson wired the other night during the game. What did you learn about Avery Johnson and this Alabama team? You're literally listening into his huddles.
Well, what I learned was that the carryover from scouting report to game, sometimes there's slippage. And that's not uncommon with a young team. But he was trying to remind his guys, hey, Jalen Hudson, he's going to go left. We're allowing him to go left. We told you not to get him to step back. You got to step back. We're telling you not to let him catch and shoot a 3. We're giving him too much space. Those are all things that go over in the scouting report, and yet you're not seeing the carryover onto the court. And that's got to be what's most frustrating right now for Avery Johnson. He knows his group is talented enough to win some of these games that they're losing. And defensively, I think you'd be pretty happy if before the game we said, hey, Avery, you're going to go give up 24, 26 points in the first half. How do you feel about that? Feel really good. But the problem has been much the same as what we saw against Florida is consistency within their offense.
Section fouled on the drive. He has scored the last 7 for Alabama.
Okay, so this is where he's at his best, right? He is a free throw attempting guard. He stops the clock. He can manufacture points, which you love. But what you don't love on that possession is where was the ball reversal? Where is the movement? Where are they going? So if he doesn't get fouled there in that situation, and they're able to cut him off, who else is moving, spacing, trying to get to the open area? Go back to that win last night for Penn State over Ohio State. The guard stopped Tony Carr, and then he read it right and snuck behind and was moving without the ball. There's not a lot of movement without the ball right now for Alabama.
Section has taken over. He has scored 9 straight. Woodland Ward late season top 20. One of the best players in the SEC, one of the best scorers.
And yet with all of that, they still have a lead. Up by 1.
Starks just running around. Shot clock at 14. 10-second difference. And they turn it over into the hands of Petty. Shot clock is off. Alabama gives it right back.
Oh, my gosh. I'm telling you, he's allergic to red. The crimson.
Yeah, you'd be crimson. Let's be accurate.
I want to make sure I'm accurate.
Shoelaces are red.
But, I mean, come on. Catch and play with the basketball. Value it. You don't have to do anything there. Okay, time and awareness. You have a 1-point lead and the ball. Just pick it up. Find your guard if you're not comfortable dribbling.
See if the Aggies get a look inside. Shot clock, or game clock, I should say, is now at 7. Here's Starks trying to shake into the paint. Leaner, nothing. Alabama, if they want it, Avery Johnson Jr. after the buzzer. What a fantastic defensive first half here in Aggie land. Sexton has 11 of Alabama's 25. Both teams shooting